Hi guys, Wendy Rivera here with Speak Bride, and this is the Hit Save on That podcast. Welcome to this week's episode. This is the question that comes from every stylist all over the world, no matter where they are located. It is the top question I get asked as I travel to teach. And the question is, what do you do at the end of the appointment where she finds her dress, but then someone in the crowd or the bride herself says, I just need to sleep on it. It is a huge pain point for stylists. It's one of those moments where you're like, if I say anything, I will turn into some sort of salesy person. And you can't step over that line into being salesy ever. We always talk about relational versus transactional, and you want to stay relational. But how do you do that when she's going to miss her moment at the end? You know she's found her dress, and when she says that, all the air gets sucked out of the room. We're diving into that specific thing on this podcast. We have lots of training about this in Speak Bride, but we've distilled some of it down so that you can hear it in this podcast. Hope you enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts. Can't wait to see you in there.
A constant question about what do you say when she says she needs to sleep on it, or she has other shops. I want to, before we jump into the answer though, part of the answer is realizing how logical that question can be to anyone who is thinking, oh, this is a big purchase in my life. And it's wise to not do it quickly. This is so huge and so large that I want to make sure that I make the right one, and we're going to sleep on it, see how we feel about it in the morning. So it's not some sort of like emotional knee-jerk reaction to seeing dresses, right? So it's logical from their perspective. It's logical, especially if we have not succeeded in changing their understanding of what actually happens when you find the dress. If we have not succeeded in changing their understanding from the fact that this is a product purchase, that there are multiples to decide between that are all evenly even with each other. They are all kind of the same because they're all products, and we need to look at the pros and cons of each and make a logical decision on those things, and like make sure we have all of our mental faculties before we make this decision, because there are multiple options that could happen. That's how people come into this process thinking it's going to be. And if we are not successful in helping them to see that it's not that, if we believe that it is that, if we have not changed our own paradigm of understanding of what this is, well, I'm just going to say, if you have not jumped onto the understanding of what Do You Speak Bride teaches, then this is going to be an impossible jump for you. This question keeps coming up, and I'm going to tell you why I think it keeps coming up. Not only because it's one of the more difficult things that we face, but it's difficult because shops don't want to buy in to the entire whole. What do I mean by that? They want a simple phrase answer to this at the end of a transactional thing that they are trying to get the bride to buy. And because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a transactional thing to get the bride to buy. Then this answer never will be able to be done by them. This answer will never be able to resonate and be able to be applied. It won't even make sense to them. They'll think it's actually a really pointless amount of words. They'll think it's shallow words. They'll think it's fluff. They'll think all of those things because they refuse to understand what I believe the truth is about this process. The study of the bride, the study of how this actually goes down, the experience of thousands of brides proving out this truth, that they are in a different realm of decision making than any other product purchase ever before or after this moment. This one's different. We've got to believe and study why it's different so that we can help the bride. She doesn't know it's going to be different. We're the ones that get to see thousands of brides. She has this happen to her this time. She doesn't get to see even 5 brides on that Saturday experience the same emotions and journey that she does. We get to. So it's our job to study how they function in this process. And I just want to say to the stylists out there, go big or go home. Like, you have to go all in to what we're teaching with Do You Speak Pride, and stop thinking of it as sound bites that we throw to the bride, and systems and whatever that we're doing to make more sales and transactions. You have to physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually pull yourself from that in order for those numbers to actually change. If that's your motivation for numbers, I'm not going to smack you on the hand. It's a business. I get it. But I can tell you, when you are thinking, I'm going to get these phrases so I can make more sales, you will actually miss sales that you can make. You will actually miss what I'm trying to teach you. You'll miss all of it. And therefore, you won't be refreshed. You'll be more frustrated. You'll be spinning your wheels. You'll be trying to use the language and spit it out. Da, 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 da. And why isn't it working? Because your whole focus is off. I'm just telling you. I say this a lot. If you focus on the right activity, the numbers will follow. Do I want you to just stop looking at the numbers? To a certain degree, I'm going to say aloud, yes. I want you to stop for a bit. And I want you to study the person that you are dealing with. I want you to analyze how they function, what resonates with them, how they make decisions. How did they come to make the decision to say yes to this person for the rest of their life when there are still thousands of other people out there to quote unquote shop? How did they make that decision? How do they know for sure this is the one? How can they know if they haven't slept on their yes when he, she, whoever asks them to marry them in whatever beautiful place, or just even the front seat of the car on the way to a restaurant? Wherever it was, how did this person say yes then and not have to go sleep on it? Because they know. Because this person makes them the best version of themselves, hopefully. Because they feel at home with this person, because they can open up with this person, because they find things in themselves creatively and mentally and in every way that they couldn't find with other people. And they can't even fully explain sometimes to people why this person was better than the other person, who seemed to have all the bells and whistles and check all the boxes. The boxes that we think need to be checked as we head into what our future forever relationship will be are not the boxes that end up being checked. The boxes that end up being checked are the boxes we could have never anticipated because we haven't, blessed, met the person yet. Are you hearing me? Is it bad to have goals of what this person you're hoping to be with is? No, it's not bad. But are there things that will happen in ways that you can't anticipate? Yes. And glory day, isn't that what we're looking for? Are we looking for the things we couldn't have anticipated? Are we looking to be surprised by things, to find things that they meet a need we didn't even know we had? Good gracious, I thought I was a strong person. And then I met Gabe. Not only did I feel stronger, I also felt the freedom to be weak. I wasn't anticipating that. I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know that was a good thing. But it's a good thing. We've got to study it. We've got to know what they need. We've got to know what they want. More than they do, different than they know. And we have to shoot for it in spite of their uneducated perception of what this process will be. We still need to shoot for it while keeping in mind where we are taking them from and where we are taking them to. It's an understanding and it's a process, and it starts with your branding. Your brand has to be bigger than life. Even if you're a small shop, I want your brand to be bigger than life. It has to feel on the front end so couture and wow and unique and distinctive, each bride being different than the other, and having experiences and options that are just not out there anywhere. Do you have customizations you're able to do? Do you work with designers that are your private collection? Do you have one of a kinds? Do you have dresses that can be sold out of the collection? Do you have price points for all brides? Do you have sizes for all brides? What is unique about you? Is your shopping experience unique? Is it that you only see one bride at a time? She gets the whole shop to herself, so she has literally over 100 dresses for just her to try. Say it that way. You've got to say it in such a way that elevates your brand first and foremost, beyond the designer names of what you carry. The things that matter to the bride, and the things that matter to her are, does your inventory say to her, you are a bride and you matter most? Is that what your inventory says to her? And how does she know if it says that or not? How can you know if it says that or not? Do you have enough sizes? If you do not have price points that say to the bride, you are a bride and you matter most. And that means if her price point is low or if her price point is super duper high, you have to be able to say to her, with what you offer, you are a bride and you matter most. That's got to be your overriding philosophy. It's not our job to pre-screen her to see if what? If she fits our mold of bride? No. Our screening process, and it's not if you've got a screening process in place, I would suggest to you, it's not helping you. You communicating things for her to get excited about are going to help you. Okay. You being transparent first, you saying what price points you have and how you love working with all brides, and you love thinking outside of the box to make their dreams come true, no matter what that is. That lights them up. That communicates to them. You communicating, you have all sizes for brides to try, and you love it. A lot of brides ask us those questions. And so I just want you to know, bride, we have dresses in sizes from all the way down to 4, which is like a 0 streetwear, all the way up to like 34, which is like a 30 streetwear. So there's tons of dresses to try on. It's so fun. We cannot wait to meet you. I haven't asked her size at all. I've just let her know what is there for her to do. We have dresses that can be sold right out of the collection. You can actually take that dress home with you, so you don't have to wait for it to be ordered. Super amazing. We have dresses we can customize. We have seamstresses we work with that do magic with dresses too. So listen, the sky's the limit. If somebody has told you no before, I'm going to shout a big yes, because that is what we do here. We're going to work in all ways to make your dreams come true. And we can't wait to do it. Different feeling than we're going to see if you're going to make sure you bring mom, and if you're going to bring your money with you, and if you're the right size for our boutique, and if you're the right style for our boutique, and if you're the right price point for our boutique, whatever it is. Those things communicate to the bride, you are not a bride. The only person that's a bride, since we sell bridal things, is the things that we're telling you are in our shop. That's the only thing. If you don't fit into that framework, we don't think you're a bride. And if you're getting married, we're surprised, because we didn't think we needed to have inventory for people like you. Fill in the blank for whatever that is. So I just encourage you. Now, does it mean you need to have way too much inventory? Heavens, no. No. As long as you have strategically the right, like for instance, if you have a small boutique, in your plus size collection, they need to be able to see each kind of cut on them, not multiples of each cut on them. So if you're a small boutique, just as long as you have one mermaid dress, if you have one slim A-line, if you have one ball gown, if you have one, do you see what I'm saying? Then they can try those on. Ball gowns, if you've watched the clamping video that we do at Do You Speak, but you can fit ball gowns onto all sorts of plus size brides as well. So you have a bigger collection than you think. But ultimately, what I'm talking to you about is the front end of talking to the bride makes a difference on the back end, at the very end, when she's saying, I need to sleep on it. You start moving the needle early on in the messaging of your brand, in how you communicate with the bride, in how you get her excited and in the right emotional mindset for what she's about to experience. Am I trying to gin up emotions? No, I'm trying to get her in the mindset that says emotions are actually a part of this process. Don't be afraid of them. We embrace them. We love them. We want them. They are a part of this process, and welcome. She has to feel something to know if this dress is correct. I'm going to share something personal with you. When Gabe and I, y'all know, if you know mine and Gabe's story, Gabe is younger than I am. And when we met, it was very significant. It felt more significant then than it does now. We've been married for almost 18 years. So I guess, anyway, but when we first met, that was a thing. And I know that my parents and his sisters had questions. They made it, questions that made sense because our age difference didn't make sense. That was the part of our relationship that did not make sense. But us together made all the sense in the world, right? However, I had not gotten to talk to my parents and gotten to talk to his parents and know what they thought. And I was from a school of thought that was, don't trust your feelings. Don't trust your own feelings. Those can be very deceptive. They can be very deceptive to you, and they can be very wrong, and they'll lead you in the wrong way. You need to work from your mind. You need to work from knowing the truth, and you need to be here. And then your heart will follow, right? This is first, and then your emotions, and then the action. So I'd taken that to heart so deeply that I had put my feelings on hold until I could hear from his parents and my parents. And I remember I was talking to him on the phone, and I was visiting a friend in Arizona, and he was back in Virginia. And I was trying to communicate this to him. I was like, well, we shouldn't really, we shouldn't move forward at all with anything, because I don't know yet if this is okay. Like, I need to talk to my parents, and I want to meet I want to make sure that your parents are okay with it, and all the things. And Gabe was like, but what do you feel? And I was like, no, that's not how this works. I need to know what my parents think, and I need to know what your parents think, and then I'll be free to feel something. And Gabe was like, how are they going to be able to answer what they think of our relationship if we don't know what we feel? If you're not sure of what you feel, how are our parents supposed to then look at the relationship and give any sort of opinion that will help? We have to know what we feel first. It's our responsibility to know what we feel first. So that truth helped. It wasn't just waiting for someone else's opinion and then I'd know what I feel. No. I actually was feeling a lot. I knew exactly what I felt about Gabe. I just didn't want to acknowledge it until I was sure that everything was going to be in place so that everything was okay and we'd be together and I wouldn't lose this most wonderful man in the world. That's not the process it takes. There's steps of faith in it, inside the journey, where you have to step, even though there are some unknowns. The same is true in this situation with gowns. The same is true. There are thousands of other dresses she hasn't seen yet. Can she say yes to this dress though? Yeah, she can. Can she say yes and know what she feels even before she knows what everyone else thinks? Yes, she can. We are now helping her navigate that. And it becomes incredibly important, because if she doesn't know what she feels about the dress, then all the other steps are going to be shaky, right? I think that many times stylists can think inside that it actually is the best thing for brides, because this decision is so big. It is the best thing for them to go and sleep on it, because they're empathizing with how big this decision is, and they don't want to be a pushy salesman and push her into something that she's not sure about. And so, yeah, she should sleep on it and all the things, right? That thought is very sweet and kind. It's also very misguided, because it's not the best for the bride. And why can I say that? Because this bride is in the frame of mind of knowing what she feels and what she thinks and who she is. She is in that frame of mind in her life. So that box, as far as like, what does she need to be for this process? That is a big one. That's checked. She has people with her, or she has whoever it is that, she wants to be with her, and they're supposed to be the most supportive, loving people there. And this moment where she knew it was the one is the moment she knows. You never get that moment back. What's best for the bride is being able to pull the trigger as soon as she knows this dress is the one. And then she can celebrate. And then she has confidence moving forward in the next step. That's what gives confidence, is all of those keys of telling her the truth about who she is and how she operates right now in her life. and helping her to know this next step of actually going, yeah, this is my dress, is not a stupid step. It's actually the only step that makes sense right then. It's the best step in the world, and all the joy and freedom lie beyond that step. Again, why we want to put more perks beyond the step. But even if you're a stylist at a boutique that has no perks beyond saying yes to the dress, and I don't mean discounts on bridesmaids dresses, I mean parties and events and all that type of stuff. If you don't have perks beyond saying yes to the dress, the truth still remains that her joy and freedom in planning and being able to fully picture herself as a bride on her day rests beyond her saying yes. All those joys are beyond that moment. So as soon as she says yes, boom, she steps into all of those. That's worth stepping into, and it's worth verbalizing to her as well. So I spend all this time to say, your mindset has to change about what this is, so that when you're talking to her on the phone at the very beginning, you know what to say and how to say it. When you're getting her pumped and excited for her appointment and prepared and giving her ideas of what to do to surprise the people with her in her appointment, all of that you're in a mindset to do, because our job is to create life moments, to facilitate life moments, to protect life moments, to define life moments, right? That's our job. So we're constantly thinking of how to create those things. And then when she comes in, we're so excited to tell her things, whether it's about your location or about the story of different things behind things at your shop. One of the things we love to do is tell them the stories of things in our shop. Why is the timeless suite so important? Because Gabe and I love the element of time and how it relates to what love is because of our story. It's such a huge part of our story. For those of you who were there for the workshop, you didn't get to see the lounge set up the way it normally is, but the lounge is set up in such a way where there are these white chairs that the brides get to sit in while the guests sit in couches when they're doing this sharing time that we do. And those chairs are very similar to the white chair that was the centerpiece of a production that I wrote when Gabe and I were dating. And I based the two main characters on me and Gabe. And we weren't married yet. And yet in the story, they were married and they experienced just so many things that a new couple experiences. But the couple in the play finds out that she can't have children. And there's a whole thing about how they slowly had moved apart and then how they came back together. And that chair is the centerpiece of the play. And little did we know that right after we got married, we would get pregnant and then we would lose our first baby. And so much of what I wrote in the play before we got married was incredibly parallel to what we lived out the first year of our marriage. It was just incredible how God worked all those details out to prepare us for what we experienced our first year of marriage. So when we saw those chairs painted white for the lounge, immediately Gabe and I looked at each other and we were like, it's the white chair. Oh my word. So we love telling people, and our stylists love telling people those things about our shop. Whatever important stories to you about your shop, be able to reduce them to a very quick but meaningful story to the bride when she's there. Show her the cool things about it ahead of time. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Ahead of time. In other words, like as soon as she walks in, be excited to show her those things and then sit down and get to know her. Transparency, details about who we are, and then she gives us transparency. You will watch her drop so many of the guards that she has up when we operate with the bride in these ways. It's the secret, friends. It's not fluff. It's the hardest, best thing you will do. And once you do it, it's no longer hard. It's the thing you look forward to doing. Why does that make a difference? Because those stories, those personal stories, those transparent moments, those vulnerable moments start making sense to the bride's brain as she goes through this process and she begins to make decisions based on different things. Instead of, I need to go to 1,000 shops, she's in love with your shop and your story, and she wants her moment to happen there. That's it. How many times do we face, I need to go sleep on it? We will still face it some, but so much fewer times, so many fewer times. And it's easier to speak into it when it happens if the front end is all done. Win her the whole time. It is, I always say this, it is not what words the guy uses in the proposal that makes her say yes. It's the relationship. The yes is the easy part. Honestly, the hard work is the relationship. So our job is to do this hard work, and this is different. Makes sense? Not many times does she have to sleep on it in that moment. If she does say, I need to sleep on it, it makes so much more sense to refer back to the original paragraph that you say when she walks in, when she says she's never been anywhere else before, and you get excited and you say, oh my goodness, okay, so this is what you need to know. So trying on dresses is the only thing similar to it is finding the right person. And what I mean by that is it happens when you least expect it, and it happens in ways you never expected. Or we call it love at first sight, because so many brides, it's their first time trying on dresses, and absolutely they fall in love right at first sight. So when you fall in love here and it's love at first sight, we celebrate with you, and you actually get $100 towards your dress, your accessories, whatever it is that you want. It's just a fun celebration. And so you're one of those brides that gets that chance. So know that, hit save on that. But it's super fun. I cannot wait to try on dresses with you and have you experience what it's like, because we get a front row seat to how this happens, and it's way different than most people ever expect. So it's going to be so fun. So talk to me. Then you move on. All of the elements in that paragraph need to be there. It's a quick story that's there. It's I don't know what happens out there, but I know what happens in here. Magic happens here all the time. That's a key element. It's you have a chance to have your experience be perfect and untouched beginning to end. And we just love that, because we just don't want it. We don't know what happens out there, but not every experience is perfect out there. And I don't know what's going on out there, but I know what happens in here. So you're one of those brides that has a chance to just have it be like breathe easy and perfect beginning to end. And I just love that. All of those elements need to be there before she tries on dresses. And if you're not willing, stylist, I'm just going to say it and shame the devil. If you're not willing to celebrate the brand in the ways that you need to, and to get her emotionally prepared in the pre-call before she comes, if you're not focused on how to create moments for her specifically and getting her pumped about how incredible this moment is at your shop, and therefore she's bringing the people that love her, and that she's bringing whatever she needs for her moment to happen because of how you have pumped her up for it, and that becomes your brand. Your reviews are all about that. Your whole website is focused on that, and your social media is focused on showing the most amazing dresses in the world. Then when she comes in, y'all, nobody else matters. And you do that paragraph at the beginning, then you can reference it at the end. None of this works in some sort of transactional vacuum communication with the bride, where we say half-heartedly a paragraph because somebody said that Do You Speak Bride works. We say kind of that thing, and then we move on, but we're not bought into it. See, I'm excited to tell the bride because it's the truth. It is the truth. And I know that she's going to be able to digest that as we walk through this process, because I'm living in it, and I'm helping her to step fully into it. And it makes sense to her brain as she goes through the process. And then at the end, when sister still pulls out, but I still think you should sleep on it. It's a big decision. Keep your face, because you know the heart of that sister is to help. She's not trying to sabotage. She's trying, in her mind, to be the voice of reason in an emotional moment. That's a nice, kind thing for her to want to do. It's not a mean thing. It's not a stupid thing. It's not. She's trying to help in whatever way she can help, and be the one that was the difference maker in this decision. That's what she wants to be. So keep your face. And the way you keep your face is by thinking good thoughts about everyone there all the time. Always believe in their motives. And you're going to say to her, you know what? Okay, bride, brides ask us this all the time, where they're like, can I sleep on it and call you back tomorrow, or call you back when you're open on Tuesday? And the answer is you absolutely can. You absolutely can. If you want to go home and if sleeping on it, is that a possibility in life? Absolutely it is. I just want to throw this out for you to think about, chew on. this dress, the reason you love this dress above all the other dresses that you've tried on is because it connected with you. It spoke to you. It brought out every emotion and feeling that you wanted. It's that romantic, it's that let me kick my shoes off and run in the field feel while being way blow you away. Wow. It's just mind blowing. And we have loved watching this happen. Like, we are obsessed with how you look in this dress. And you came out more confident every time. And you're in it and you're like, yeah, I love, and the reason that you're that is because you know who you are. That's why I've loved doing this whole hour and a half with you. You know who you are. That's why you knew, okay, yeah, Brian's the one. Absolutely, he's the one. Are there thousands of others out there? I'm sure there are. Do I care? No. Brian's the one. Remember at the beginning when I said finding your dress is like finding the right person? It happens in ways you don't expect, at times you don't expect. This is what I'm talking about. Like, could it be logical to some people to go, but wait, there are thousands of others? Yeah. But when you know how you feel in a dress and you're saying in it going, this is how I want to feel, you're not crazy for feeling something. Feeling something is absolutely a part of this process. You've done this well. You have eliminated well. You're taking all the steps necessary to have known, you know what, but I came back to this so strong. I mean, this dress beat out not weak dresses, friend. This dress beat out strong dresses. Like, amazing. And here it stands, right? It's just so cool to watch. And I love the fact that your mom and sister are here. They're the most incredible people ever to be here for this moment when you're like, oh, I love this. So could you theoretically go home and sleep on it and call me on Tuesday? Yes. Is it this moment? No. This moment, it's here right in front of you. And side notes, which I think is super key, I'm going to throw in here. And it will forever now be a part of Do You Speak Bride, just so you know. It's just like when you know that you love the person, but it's like saying I love you is a big deal. And it's not the wedding day, but it is a ginormous step. And but you know how you feel and you know what you think about it. And you just at some point have to say it, right? You have to go, I love you. Like when Gabe and I would go into a story and talk about how we said we loved each other, right? Gabe actually said, I think I love you. And I couldn't even say it back to him at first because I was like, how can I say this right now? This is impossible. This is impossible. This is impossible. But a few hours later, I was like, I have no other way to describe this. I love you too. I think I love you too. And we love that phrase. I think I love you. But it's like a step. But when that step is taken, it's like, oh, yes. And now we're free to fly and it's all out there, right? That's how it is with dresses. As soon as you step into this and you're like, oh, this is actually it. It's an action that has to be taken. It's like your feelings and mind know that an action needs to happen now. Is the right action to go home and sleep? Or is the right action to step into this and go, oh, yes, this is my moment. Let's celebrate. I want to say, I just think all of this is amazing. You step in and it's like, wow. And we all are just sitting here going, oh my goodness, we want to toast and hands in the air and scream and celebrate with you because you know who you are. And this dress celebrates who you are. I'm just saying, it absolutely does. And you're not crazy for feeling something in this dress. You're not crazy. You're amazing. You're so strong. And I just love it. I love it. And then step back. All of that is worth working to be able to say. It can come out a little bit differently each time. It does come out a little bit differently each time based on who the girl is. But the essence of the elements of that paragraph, if you can listen to that, soak it in and see why I said certain things and why I didn't say other things and hit save on those things. And practice saying those things. Why? So that it's rehearsed? No. So that you don't stumble over yourself when you're trying to think the thoughts and say it, but in the moment when you're nervous, it can zap that right out of your head. Practicing it helps you not to be nervous. That's the only thing practice does, is it gives you courage to go ahead and step into the genuine things you need to share with this bride.
Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope there were elements in there that were both educational and inspirational and something you can take into the other relationships of your life. So if it was something that was helpful, let us know. Hit the like button, comment, let us know specifically what was helpful, and share it with someone else who it will help. We're on a mission to help empower brides and to spread the love that is in their life to the world in as big a way as we possibly can. So if this is helpful to somebody else, share it with them. We would love to meet them as well. And then let us know the impact that it's having on your experience with helping brides. We cannot wait to see you. Also know this, our educational platform takes you from point A all the way through advanced skills with helping brides. It's years and years and years of video training that we have now on this platform. I would love to have you join, interact with us in real time every week with the other stylists from all over the world, and it will help you a lot. So come join us, and thanks again for listening to the podcast.